want to focus on these cabinets. I have 5 total. These 3 house plates and spices, as well as baking needs and medication. We're going to take everything out. I like to do these cabinets 3 times a year. We did them about 4, maybe 5 months ago. They're in pretty decent condition considering, but getting cluttery. And I want to wipe them down because it's a new season. It's getting hotter out, and I want to make sure there's no food remnants within the cabinets so we don't attract ants and mice and any kind of pests. We're going to check the quality of the containers to make sure their condition is still good, and if anything's cracked, they'll be replaced and discarded. We're going to wipe everything down, take everything out in zones. Each cabinet will be a zone, and then I'll do it shelf by shelf to make things easier for myself so I don't get overwhelmed. And when you're doing this at home, zone it out 1, 2, and 3, shelf per shelf, so it's not overwhelming. That way you don't have a huge pile of stuff everywhere on your countertop and risk losing or breaking anything. Start on the middle cabinet here. Open it up for you. At a glance, it looks pretty decent. I have wash basins to house multiple items that are needed. I have bins. I have containers. All kinds of things to try to contain the clutter and keep my cabinets neat and efficient for when I'm cooking and baking. And I don't want to be looking for things, especially when I'm filming for the channel. I want to be able to look at the cabinet and say there it is and just grab it and be on my way. And sometimes family members do not put things back the way they belong, and it's part of life. We live here. This is a high traffic area within my kitchen. The kitchen is a high traffic area on its own, and I try to keep it clean and organized as best as I can, but clutter just happens to just appear out of nowhere. So you need to be decluttering a little bit once a week. Pick an area that needs attention, spend 15-20 minutes, zone it out as I mentioned, and get it contained. Today we're doing the cabinets in my kitchen because I will be doing a lot of summer style dinners that are 5 ingredients or less from your pantry, and I want the cabinets to look nice. I'm going to start at the top cabinet, and I probably won't even need to wipe that down. I need to invest in a step ladder for my kitchen. I don't have one. My back's going to be turned to you. I'm going to go through these bins and see what's in here. These are the bins. This is something my husband's never used. I'm going to take a look at it to see if we're going to keep it. I hold on to my funnels. These are from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 3-pack, 3 different sizes. And because I have kids, I keep a lot of Scotch tape on hand. My husband likes to have a shot once in a while. The super glue. I'll put off to the side here. I don't even know what this is. Probably can fit something in it. I have an overstock of creme de tartar because it's very useful in baking and cleaning within your home. Those mild sauces are very old. I'll ask him what he did with the mild sauces he brought home yesterday, because I can probably fit them all in here. I'm going to take everything out of this clear bin, and we're going to use it elsewhere. Stack in the shot glasses, and add the creme de tartar to this basket. The wash basin here from Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to put that basket up, and I will use these elsewhere in the cabinets. I like to consolidate. Hey everyone! Sorry that my back is turned to you. There's no other way to get a view of the cabinet while I'm putting things away. I'm just putting away the wash basin that we consolidated and organized, and a cup. I wiped out the shelf and replaced the wash basin, and I put the water bottle back up there. Took everything out of the middle shelf, wiped it down first. And we're going to take everything out of these bins and utilize this bigger bin that I picked up from the Dollar Tree last year. And I like to put skinny bins inside of the bigger bins to organize them, to keep everything from bouncing around within the bins. Taking the bin one step further by adding smaller bins inside. In containers, you can house and contain all the items that need to be stored so they have their home and they're not all over the bin when you take it down and everything's spilled out. Always play with things and see what will fit, and if something doesn't look right, fix it. By emptying out this bin and consolidating it into this one, I have all my onion soup mixes in here. And I stockpile these because we still make slime and other crafts requiring food coloring, because I have a 12-year-old. And I put all the ketchups and mild sauces in the jar that I found to keep them from bouncing all over the place. And then there's a couple of barbecue sauces that my husband likes to dip. And I'll put them back there. Now we can put them back into the cabinet. And I can house the other spices in other containers. My back will be turned to you once again. I'm going to put the clear bin back into the cabinet, and I'm going to take out everything from the bottom shelf in the cabinet. Then I'm going to wipe it out and then organize the bins and put all the spices back. The third shelf is emptied out and wiped out. And we're going to go through all the spices, make sure they're current and within date. Anything new will go to the back of the pile. It's important to rotate your stock so the older items leave your home first before the newer items. Make sure none of the seals are broken. Take care of anything that's sticky or out of place or doesn't belong in the bin. All these containers are from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to organize this so it's baking spices in one, like pumpkin spice and nutmeg, and then things like pepper and garlic in the other bin and put them back in the cabinet. On to the second clear container. All this pepper, garlic, and onion powder is going to go into this one with pepperoni and the package of garlic, so it is in a bin and not all over the place. When you're going through all your spices and their trays that they house in, always make sure there is no spices or food remnants within the tray to keep pests away. That way your home is clean and free of any mice or ants or any kind of pest that may be interested in the smell of the spices that's spilled out. Hot soapy water is all it takes. A little bit of elbow grease. I'm going to put this in the middle part in between the two clear trays that I grabbed. And that houses so much more spices. I have one that's strictly baking and one that's strictly seasoning chicken and steaks. I moved over the bins and they're resting on the bar of under the storage cabinet. Pick that up at Big Lots. It's nice and clean now. I always put the larger spices to the front. They always end up pushed back. Stuff that we don't use all the time, like nutmeg, will be put aside. This is the garlic pepper supreme that I love. Then I have my peppermill from our bulk store. I have some sea salt on deck that I picked up at Dollar Tree. That is 16 ounces for $1.25. Great buy. With barbecue season, they've been having a lot of great buys lately. Put the nutmeg up with the spices. I'll put the bacon bits towards the back because we don't use them that often. Usually just in salads or occasionally meatloaf. I'll show you the inside of the cabinet that we just did. All 3 shelves are done. Starting at the top with the wash basin. We looked inside every single bin, made sure they didn't have any kind of food remnants in it. Cleaned them out if needed, wiped out all the shelves. And everything is organized, and I know where everything is, and make things more efficient for cooking for my family as well as the channel. I'm going to move on to the cabinet on the right hand side with all my plates and dishes. As much as I love Pinterest, my cabinets and pantries will never be Pinterest pretty, but I'll keep them organized for a regular person and keep them neat and orderly. At a glance, it looks good, but we're going to take everything out, put things back properly. The top shelf, it's hard to get an angle on. I'll adjust it a little further. There's a lot of big bulky items up there that we do use, and we use them on a weekly basis. I found another skinny bin that I can use. I'm going to take that out and see what's in it. The side items, the food with the bag and seasons, I need to really find a place where I can house them so they're not bounced around and all over the cabinet because things get lost. We're going to start from the bottom shelf this time and then work our way up. On to the next cabinet with the bottom shelf this time. Taking all the food out, then all the glass items with the shelf riser. I'm going to wipe it clean. And we're going to try a few different things to make sure it works first before we finalize how it's going to look. As you can see, we emptied out the shelf. I'm going to step away for a second. I cut out some cardboard today, and I want to see if I can use it within my cabinet to keep things separated and from banging into each other and clanging and further chipping with my dishes to make them last longer. I like to keep these cabinets updated. I use these red bins from the Dollar Tree as well throughout my cabinets in the kitchen and my home. Dollar Tree has a ton of options. Check them out, and you can also buy them online too if you didn't know that. My red container is going to house all of the loose packets, including the tray that my husband uses for the cabinet. Anything found open that looks damaged, stained, or wet, discard. Focusing just on this bottom shelf that we cleared out. I need to make this as efficient as possible to house everything within the cabinet here. These are bulky, old, awkward cabinets. I cut up a giant size cereal box like this today. And when the bowls rest up against each other, they won't chip and bang into one another. And since we use the plastic bowls quite a bit still, they're going to stay on here. My husband likes those for chips. My kids like the straw bowls still. And I'm going to be making my own breakfast bowls. So I saved a bunch of those, and those can sit right with the plastic ones. Now we're going to take everything out of the top shelf. Focusing on this shelf now, I'm going to pull everything out, wipe it down, and replace things. And I gotta find a place for the small plates that we use for breakfasts, small meals, sandwiches, things like that. Taking everything out, once again, the middle shelf, I found some other food items that I'll just put into the red basket. That basket's pretty nifty. It's housing all those loose items so they're not blown up all over my cabinet. And I just found some more shake and bake, and take my plates down carefully because I don't want them broken or chipped. I'm going to wipe out the cabinet. I'm going to start replacing things. Everything is taken out and it's wiped out. If you find anything that has any kind of food on it, put it in the sink to get washed. And I'm not really happy with the bowls there. I'm going to try the shelf riser up here. Put the plates under the shelf riser, and then see what I can house on top. But it doesn't look like it's going to be friendly. These cabinets were designed a long time ago. The house is about 140 years old. They're dumb, awkward cabinets. I see that all the time. Dumb doors, dumb fixtures. It's just a hassle and hard to be efficient with modern organization. The shelf riser is probably going to go back to the bottom shelf. I don't like the cardboard piece here, and it's always good to try different things. Nothing's ever permanent when you do something. If you don't like it, just fix it until you like it. So I put the mug riser back, and it's going to house the plates and the bowls underneath. Then I'll put the box up in between the plate and the serving bowls to keep the plates from chipping. Up to the top shelf. Now that it's all wiped out, I'm going to take out those plastic containers, put the platters back, and the small bowls that we used on the weekends and holidays. So you can see the after of the very top shelf and the plates. Always try things out. If you don't like the way they look, it's not a big deal. I put this box I cut in between the plates and the bowls so they don't get chipped. And I took down the big bulky containers, which I'll house in the junk room, so I can keep the bowls that we use during holidays or big meals with our platter that we use on the weekends, and the plate my father-in-law gave me for our dinner rolls and desserts. And I do use these command hooks from time to time, but they tend to always fall off the products. Before we attempt the last cabinet, I'm going to clear out the dish train in case anything falls so nothing breaks. Recently replaced my really thick glasses from Dollar Tree. A couple of them broke, and we have 5 again in case we have company. Get those smaller plates put away in my smiling mug. I don't really have anything to do in the glass cabinet, but I will show you what it looks like regardless. I'm going to put away these dishes in the dish train before I do anything with that cabinet in case anything falls. I don't want anything broken. Adjusting the camera so you can see up into the glasses area, which we're not going to organize within this video. I'll just move some things out and make room. So you can see in the cabinet here, this is the last one we're going to do. We recently did the ones down below, and we scrubbed them top to bottom. Just take everything out. This is our medicine cabinet. When the kids were smaller, it was a safe place to keep everything. And make sure that there's no medicine spills. All the pillows are current, and that the stockings are rotated. And we also keep light bulbs up there, as you can see. And I utilize the bins to keep everything contained, but the bins tend to get out of hand from time to time. Wiping it out after taking everything out of the bottom cabinet where all the medicine is. When my children were smaller, it was the safest place to do this. I'm wiping down the Lazy Susan because medicine does spill on it. We don't want to attract any pests in the house like mice or ants or any kind of insect. Going through the container, getting rid of everything that doesn't belong, anything expired, consolidating pills if needed, and removing things out. I'm going to get a smaller bin because this one's bulky and doesn't house anything. And all the light bulbs and everything that's left that is fresh and good is going to go back up in the cabinet. By replacing the other bin, I'm going to create more space in this awkward tight cabinet. I can fit the light bulbs in here, and then some of the first aid like band-aids, vapor rub if needed, smaller pills, the covers for the thermometer, our LED light bulbs, things that we need when we need to change a bulb. And anything that didn't belong got discarded. When you're cleaning out your cabinets and organizing them and decluttering them, always remove 5 to 10 items. My back is going to be turned for you to the moment. I'm going to do a workaround here. Never be afraid to change things as you're organizing. That's going to fit to the side because I don't want the kids touching any of that stuff. I have children's band-aids for my 12-year-old, and my teen's tall enough to reach those. Now the medicine shelf is clean and organized, and anything old is being discarded. Take everything out of the last 2 shelves. We're going to go through it all, see what's expired, clean out the bins if needed, and wipe out the cabinet and put everything back. Is out of that cabinet on that shelf. I'm going to go through it all like we did everything else. See what's old that needs to be discarded, declutter, organize. I already wiped them out. The very top shelf housed sponges, which are still very neat. I stockpiled our favorite sponges. I found everything that my husband was looking for with all the barbecue sauces. We want to contain this. See how they work in this double jar that you can use for snacks or your craft room or tools. Dollar Tree usually has them in January. Sometimes you can still find them in the spring and summer. But you look for them in the fall is the best time, or online. They are a great buy, and they house a lot of small things. Taking everything out of the bin. I'm going to go through all the muffin tins, the mug, all the sauces and dips and ketchups. And I found that container from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to stick all those ketchups and sauces inside both sides so they house them and they don't get bounced around all over the bin. Then I'm going to take all the muffin tins and put them into the little square basket so they're contained and not all over the bin, and put the measuring cup back with the mixes. Now we can put the bin back. It's organized and consolidated. And I have extra room if I need to. And all three big bulky cabinets are cleaned out, wiped out, decluttered, and organized. Let's give you an after look of all three. All the way over to the right. I put some bowls for easy access and the extra underneath the shelf riser with the plates. All the packets have a home. Our lighter for the grill, my husband's little tray for the oven. The bowls are separated from the plates so they don't bang and clang. The top shelf is organized and cleaned. All the spices are accessible and organized. Each shelf. My overstock of sprinkles. My kids love ice cream, so we stockpile them. And then the important stuff like tape and glue and super glue at the tippy top, because we do use them. Then the last cabinet over here, where I house the medicines, is all organized, decluttered. Anything expired, tossed out. Anything almost empty, I consolidated with the other pills, made sure they were the correct dose. The middle shelf with the extra glasses and tumblers, and the baking needs in a bin, so I can just pull the bin down for easy access. And then the sponge is on the top, and everything is all wiped out. No surprises within the cabinets. And we briefly showed you the glass cabinet, and I moved one of the extra glasses to the shelf with the baking items because there was room to free up some of the clutter with the glasses so nothing clangs or falls and breaks. And I quickly moved some glasses to this cabinet with the gravy boat from my friend Elizabeth Reed, which we love, by the way, to this cabinet because it's more accessible and it's not hidden behind any of the glasses, and then the glasses won't clang, bang, or chip or fall and break. Here's everything I decluttered from my cabinets, not including trash or any kind of old food that went into the garbage can. We did more than 10 items today.